Mr. Rowan. The board has returned from executive session. Are there any conclusions or resolutions to report?
No, sir.
Okay. With that, I'd like to ask everybody to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I'd ask you to remain standing after we're done with that. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At our last meeting, the board, along with our residents, talked about initiating a moment of silence at the beginning of our meetings. We used to always start a meeting with prayer, and the Supreme Court, unfortunately, told us we couldn't do that anymore. On the other hand, moments of silence are legal, and so we're going to initiate that. It's very appropriate that we start that new practice this evening because of a loss, a tremendous loss that the Colerain Township community recently suffered in January since we last got together. Joe Moulter was a wonderful human being, first of all, but he was also an 11-year employee of our Parks Department, and just a thoroughly decent human being. And he fought a courageous battle against cancer for the last year and ultimately succumbed to that disease in January. Left behind his wife, Tawana, who's also a very long employee of our Parks Department, and 2 little children. We are very fortunate this evening to have Joe's parents, Joe and Jill, here, as well as Tawana and their 2 children. And so I want to extend our sympathy and extend our thoughts and prayers with you on behalf of the whole Colerain Township community. So as we stop and reflect here in a second for our moment of silence, I'd ask you to remember the intentions of the Moulter family and the grief that they're enduring right now. So let us all have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. You could all be seated, please. And a friendly reminder to turn off your cell phones, too. Okay, we're going to start off with presentations this evening, Mr. Rowan. Is that correct?
Actually, we need to take care of the action item of election of vice president.
Okay.
Probably going to do that right out of the gate.
Chair will offer a motion to appoint Michael Enderhees as vice president of the board.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
Mr. Unskill?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye. And before we continue with the meeting, I obviously would be remiss if I didn't point out that we've got a new trustee sitting with us tonight. Michael Enderhees was appointed over the weekend and took his oath yesterday. And so we want to welcome Michael, especially his wife Cora and their son Henry, to the Colerain Township community, and wish him the best of luck in his tenure as a trustee. So thank you. Congratulations. Okay, Duke Energy.
Good evening, and we appreciate the board giving us this opportunity to participate in your agenda, and we know that we are not the reason that we have such a large attendance here, but we do value the participation and the opportunity to let everyone know why we're here. I'm Warren Walker. I'm the Community and Government Relations Manager for Duke Energy. I'm the one throat to choke when you are having trouble getting through our plethora of phone numbers and contacts, but you are a customer, and I'm a resource for you. One of the things that I can guarantee that no one thought about before they arrived this evening, I would hope so anyway, that no one was thinking, I hope the lights are on, or I hope the building's warm when I get there. Our power source is very reliable, and we spend a lot of resources in making that so. And that kind of brings us here this evening. We completed a very large project about 15 years ago, or over the past 15 years, and we have a token of appreciation that we'd like to give the township. And I'm going to let Jim Hornsby, who's our manager of gas system operations, make that presentation. And President Ritter, if you wouldn't mind a photo op right afterwards. There's not a camera that the community relations guy doesn't like, you know, but we'd appreciate that opportunity. Good, Jim.
Thanks, Warren. And again, thank you, Jim Hornsby. Thank the board and thank the folks of this township. As he said, 15 years we were in your community digging holes, making, impassable streets with barricades and whatnot. but it was a 15-year project. We replaced 1,200 miles of cast iron and bare steel main, which was, unreliable and not quite as safe. In conjunction, we replaced 116,000 services, which made it more safe and reliable. And at the end of the day, our system here in the tri-state is a system that is being modeled by cities across the United States, more safe, more reliable. And that was all replaced with, this right here is the new plastic pipe. It won't corrode, doesn't crack, and lasts a lot longer. So we appreciate you allowing us to come here this evening and be a part of your community.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just a quick little anecdote. I promise I won't take up too much time with the story, but I have to tell you, your president and CEO down in Charlotte was one of my first supervisors at my first job at a college at Arthur Anderson in the auditing profession, Lynn Good.
Lynn, okay.
And so I've known Lynn since 1986, and it didn't surprise me one iota when she got your CEO position. Easily one of the top, smartest people I've ever met in my career. But I know you're well led by her at Duke Energy. So
Thank you.
Glad to get a picture.
We'll send this photo to her.
Yep, she did. In Miami.
Photo bomb.
There you go. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Absolutely. My pleasure.
Okay, next presentation is the swearing in of new career firefighters. Chief Cook.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to introduce our newest career firefighters to the department and also administer their oath of office. So, Lisa Pola and Brian Bowles, please forward. Lindsay Sapola has been with the fire department 5.5 years. She started her service here in the township as a part-time employee and has obtained her paramedic certification and additional education. She studied nursing. Ryan also started his fire service career here with us, been with the department 3 years. Ryan's also active in our military service. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize Ryan's father, Mike. Mike, can you stand up, please? Mike served as a long-time employee with the fire department before going on to the Newport Kentucky Fire Department, where he retired from. So Mike, thank you for the service. So, like I said, I want to introduce these two new employees to you. Having known them very well, they both served under me as a shift commander when they first come on the fire department. So I'm very proud of them for their successes, as I am all of the fire department employees. So I wish them well, and I'm sure that they will do well over their future as career firefighters with Colerain Township. Your wife and son? Perfect. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. You solemnly swear. I will do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America.
That I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America.
And the Constitution of the State of Ohio.
And the Constitution of the State of Ohio.
And its bylaws.
And its bylaws.
That I will faithfully execute.
And that I will faithfully execute.
The duties of career firefighter paramedic.
The duties of a career firefighter paramedic.
In and for Colerain Township.
And for Colerain Township.
Hamilton County.
Hamilton County.
And the State of Ohio.
And the State of Ohio.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much.
Well, I want to speak for the whole board and extend our sincere congratulations to Lindsay and Ryan. For those of you who may not realize it, this is a really big deal because our fire and EMS division is staffed partially by part-time folks and partially by career folks. And a lot of our part-time folks aspire to have career positions, and sadly, we just don't have enough slots. A lot of them will leave for other departments. So when we have somebody who came up through the ranks, like Ryan and Lindsay, and they can get a career position, it's a really big deal. And to see the support from a lot of their fellow colleagues in the division speaks volumes too about the quality of our department. So again, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Next, I'd like to ask County Chief Steve Conn and Paramedic Patricia Salwan to step forward, please. These two individuals have recently surpassed 25 years of service dedicated to not only the community but to the department. Chief Conn currently serves as the one ship commander, battalion chief. He also serves as the face of the department. He serves as our public information officer, or one of our public information officers. Steve has risen through the ranks within the department. Started here as a part-time firefighter, risen through the ranks, captain down at Station 26, and he's our newest battalion chief. So, thank him for his dedication and his work. Patricia, she was one of our first paramedics when we entered the advanced life support service. She currently serves as one of our public educators here in the township. She currently works up at the North Mall Station, providing CPR instruction and interacts with the public on almost a daily basis. Best estimates that I can tell is she probably interacts or has a little bit about 5,000 contacts annually with people in the mall. So, as a token of appreciation for their loyalty and dedication to the community and to the department, we have some plaques that I'd like to present each other. And again, thank you for your years of service, like I said, to the community and also to the department. And then lastly, I have 3 fire officers who are recent graduates of the National Fire Academy's Executive Fire Officer Program. The Executive Fire Officer Program is the flagship program of the National Fire Academy. The National Fire Academy is located in Emmitsburg, Maryland. The 3 officers, the program is it's a 4-year program in which the 3 individuals had to go to Emmitsburg, Maryland, and attend courses for 2 weeks, 1 course a year for 4 years. The course duration is 4 years. Upon their return home, they had 6 months in order to complete an applied research project. As a graduate of the program, I can testify that there's a great amount of time and effort put into this program. And so at this time, as recent graduates, I'd like to invite Assistant Chief Allen Walls, Captain Darren Edwards, and Captain Sean Stacy to the front here, please. There are actually 4 areas of study during the program. The first one is executive development. Second one being analysis of community risk reduction. The third one is executive analysis of the emergency operation. And the last one is executive leadership. Very intense curriculum. Like I said, the applied research project is very intense, very time consuming, and these gentlemen now are amongst some of the elite in the fire service as a result of their successful completion of the Executive Fire Officer Program. Thank you very much and congratulations. Congratulations.
Chief Denny?
If I could have Mike Evangelo, Louise Pitcher, and Margie Harmon come front for me. In 2002, President Bush, in wake of the 2011 or 2001 attacks, established the Volunteers and Police Service Award with the intention of getting people involved in their communities again and making communities stronger. That name has since changed to the President's Volunteer Service Award. And we're blessed tonight to have some people in our community that really care about seeing us succeed in doing what we need to do to be better. We wanted to recognize them tonight, give them an award, and just have them stand up here and have the applause for them. The service actually values each volunteer hour at $23.07 an hour. Wow. So these three, plus Pat Powell, who couldn't be here tonight, I don't think he came, they're responsible for over $28,000 in volunteer hours to the township. And they do that through our summer events, our care program, Driving Angels, our mall patrols, and just helping out generally in our office. So it's kind of impressive that 4 people can be responsible for that much volunteer time, but it's important. Mike's here for his wife, Brenda. She's much prettier than he is, but I'm going to go ahead and let him accept the award for her anyway. Brenda donated over 250 hours. She spent a lot of her time with the mall patrols that we do during the Christmas time. It's a big help to us. It allows us to stay on the street, do our work, but still have a presence in one of the most important parts of our community. So thank you for Brenda, and thank you, Mike, too. Mike is also another volunteer. Pat Powell couldn't be here with us today. He drives our Citizens on Patrol vehicle. He comes in once a week, and he patrols any part of the township that we need, that we're having issues with, an extra set of eyes and some presence for us that really help us get our mission accomplished as well. He also donated over 250 hours. The next 2 ladies, Louise and Margie, kind of made them last because it's kind of impressive what they've done. We've had the Driving Angels program since 2009. These 2 ladies have been to every single class since 2009, volunteering their time. There's not an instructor in the program that can say that about what they've done. Every time we've had the class, they're there to greet the kids and make sure they're in the right place, and I couldn't say enough about both of them. Louise is a winner of the Bronze Award. That's over 250 hours as well. She's in the office helping out on top of the Driving Angels program, and I thank her. And Margie is our gold winner for this year. She had over 500 hours. And she's also in the office. She's in there more than I think Ed is sometimes. I think you do a lot more work. But these 2 have been on longer than I've been on the department, so they're part of the family here. And it's kind of like having your mom and dad in front of you and you're giving them an award. They were here when I came, and I looked up to them, and they kind of helped me get comfortable in the community. So it's really nice to see them up here getting recognized for what they do. Also, if Deb Fails would step forward for me, please. Deb is kind of the ringleader. She makes sure everybody shows up where they're supposed to be and they get recognized. But as a group, our Citizens Academy, they got the award also for over 1,000 volunteer hours. So I want to give something for the entire group. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Folks, again, on behalf of all the residents of Colerain Township, thank you for your service and your commitment to this community. It means so much. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to citizens' address. Mr. Fiddlenag.
My name is Bernie Fiedleday. I live in Colerain Township. God, I hope to start this way, Jeff. Issue 3 about the levy is on the website. I'd like to see that taken off, but I think it's incorrect that we use taxpayer dollars to finance the levy. If we can't do that, then I would request that any citizen be allowed to put their opposition on the website too.
Mr. Barbieri, what's your take on that?
If it's factual information, it's just fine.
Did you think there was something that wasn't factual that you saw?
It's always been to my knowledge you cannot promote a levy with taxpayer dollars, and that's what we're doing. So anyway, I got to go forward. You know, the Rumpke settlement here recently was to the tune of $2 million, meaning what we were getting in the settlement. It appears to me that there's God's plenty of money that could take care of the roads. I was just really shocked when we continued with the road levy when we had plenty of money coming in. I guess that was what I'll say. I mean, you guys decided to put the levy on. Do I support it? Absolutely not, because I think you've got plenty of money. Anyway, that's that issue. Here recently, the county commissioners, in their wisdom, started a utility tax, which up to this point, I'm going to go to that meeting tomorrow, but up to this point, to my knowledge, no one really knows what it is, what they're going to tax, etc. They're like trying to play catch up. In the first go around, they missed 40% of the electric tax, I think.
Wasn't this a effort to fund 911? It's somehow related to 911.
You're correct. It's an effort to fund 911. I should have said that. But anyway, Mr. Malloy went down and promoted that tax. And I think it's very foolish to promote the tax for us, meaning Colerain Township. We're gonna get back $1 for every $2 we take away from the residents, minimum. It may be $3 because they're not real clear what they're going to do. In other words, it's really not very cost effective, meaning when you start taking the $2 or $3 from the residents to get back $1 for the 911 center for what we pay for the police department, it doesn't make sense. And I guess that's where I'm coming with from that whole thing. And the other part of it, what nobody said, over all the years, the 911 keeps going up, but no one ever questions the cost effectiveness or the efficiency of it. This year, I read in the paper that it's going up 5%, next year 9%. How's that even possible? There's something wrong. That's what I'll say to that. I got a suggestion. Here shortly, we're going to lose a lot of debt, and that's the other thing.
2022, but go ahead.
Excuse me?
2022, 2021.
Well, that's not necessarily true. You're going to lose some this year, right, Jim?
2018. The big bucket is.
You're going to lose Stone Creek this year. You're going to lose the administration this year. Stone Creek is a TIF, which we have to split some of that up, and also Best Buy be 18. This year we'll lose the administration building. That's just a bond, so we'll get all that 100,000 there back. So there's about 300,000 more we're going to get at the end of this year, meaning that we've got plenty of money coming in, and to say we need money for a levy, doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally. And then the other thing I think with the levy, we're going to hire some new folks, I understand, for the road crew, whatever it may be. And looking at how we've been bidding jobs and the cost, I think that before we do anything, we really need to take a hard step back and make sure we got our ducks in a row, because right now I can tell you we don't. One last thing I'd like to say that we are in a position very shortly to be debt-free, and I'd like to see a resolution passed by the trustees that say we're going to do everything in our power to remain debt-free in the future if you want to be successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Acton.
Get my old bones. It's been a rough day for me today. Not to bring up old wounds, but Mr. Ritter, I think you better check with Mr. Barbier about a statement that you made earlier. As Mr. Fiddley said, I'd like to welcome Steve Rutenhofer, is it? From Hamilton County Park, our Hamilton County Engineering Department is going to be our new roadman or public works director. Understand he's a very good man. I'm glad that we're going to have somebody here that can understand what's going on with the roads out here. Over the past week, I went around to my neighborhood, which there's 31 of us, and passed out a survey asking the residents some questions. And after the meeting here, if anybody would like to see them, I have most of them right here with me. One of their biggest concerns was the lost value of their houses, ranging anywhere from 20, well, let me back that up, 15 to 20, $25,000 in property value. It's shocking that we've got such a loss like that in this township. I'm a firm believer in this township, and as many of you know here, and those in Waycross, that I've battled not only the trustees but the administration about a lot of facts that were put before us and not a lot of explanations what it meant or what it was for. But out of these 31 residents, 23 of them replied. 2 of them said no, they would not answer, and the other 6 said come back later and I'll give you my response, which I will be doing that tomorrow to get their response back. And in a March, I think, 8th meeting, I will be giving you a report on what my fellow citizens and fellow residents had to say. Mr. Molloy, I see that you're going to be speaking this afternoon or this evening on public safety, suspension of firefighters IIB program. Well, he's left. Chief, can you handle that later? It says here suspension of the firefighters 11B program. 2B? Okay. And then Mr. Rowan, if you could, the approval of resolution regarding reinstatement of 457 plan, if you could do that. And in closing, I guess Mr. Rowan and Mr. Ritter, Mr. Hinsko, and our new trustee, if possible, will all be out at Pleasant Run Elementary discussing levy 3. We would like to see more than what showed up the last 2. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Chuck Klosterman.
Thank you for letting me come and speak tonight. In the interest of full disclosure, my name is Chuck Klosterman. I was one of the approximate 30 people that had submitted my resume and my essay for the open trustee position. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So the reason I'm here, so the only trustee that really called me when I applied was Mr. Hinsko. Mr. Hinsko had asked me a few questions, told me he was impressed with my resume. I thought that was great. I thanked you.
Thank you.
But then you made a comment, and your comment was, have you heard what's going on in the news lately? My response was, yeah, vaguely. I didn't really think much of it, wasn't really going to, because that was back in November. But then I started looking into it. And I have to say, Mr. Hinsko, it's pretty shameful to go out online and pull up what you handed out as your literature when you ran. I think it was deceiving. I think any reasonable person that would have seen that would have just assumed that you actually had the Republican endorsement. Now, I read those things forward and back, upside down. Nowhere did I really see that you had the endorsement, but you gave the illusion. You're a trustee. That means you're to be trusted. These are the trustors. They trust you, okay? I don't think that's trustworthy. I really don't. I think it's shameful. I think it's deceiving. I just wanted to make sure I called and made a request that I come up and just share a few minutes about how I felt about that, okay? That's just my point, all right? So I'll let the law handle it from that point on, because I did look it up, and it does, I think it's 3517.21 Section B, number 8, is actually very explicit. What you did was wrong. That's all I got to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. If I could just briefly address that. You're obviously entitled to your opinion, and obviously I would disagree. I approved it with my attorney. Nowhere on my ballots does it say the word endorsed. I don't think there's anything else to it. If something else comes up, we'll address it then. But, I encourage people to talk, whether they agree with us or disagree. This is what we need. If everyone told us how awesome we were all the time, there'd be no incentive to be better trustees or better people or whatnot. So you're certainly entitled to your opinion, and you did give a good interview over the phone. I appreciate that. So no hard feelings, I promise. No hard feelings whatsoever. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else wants to speak during public address this evening? Okay.
I had 2 minutes left. Can I use it now?
Sure.
Thank you.
2 minutes.
I'm going to take less than that, though. I wrote an article last week which Jenny Key published in the Northwest Press. I don't know how many of you got to read it or not. I didn't agree with Mr. Ensko's ballot either. I did not accept it when I walked into the voting place. Once I got into that booth, it's up to me whether I voted for Ensko, Ritter, this gentleman, Heather, Rowan, Barbier, or anybody else. It's our privilege to vote the way we want to. I hate to say it right now, and I'll say it to this gentleman here. And you're back there too, Mr. Mason. I hate to be a Republican right now. It's a shame, it's a disgrace of what's going on in this township. And there will be other articles written by yours truly, James W. Acton, about what's going on in this township. It's up to us people to speak up. Meetings that we've had, what do we got left here? This is the biggest meeting we've had probably in a year, unless it's a presentation or something like that. Everybody leaves. Please, please, Waycross members, anybody else that's out there, voice your opinions, get to these meetings. Let these 3 gentlemen understand what you think about what's going on. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
I would just agree to disagree with you on the state of the township, Mr. Acton, but nevertheless, I think we should move on with the agenda tonight, candidly, unless there's anybody else that wants to speak. Great. Public hearings. We've got 2 this evening. Mr. Birkenau, are you handling those?
Actually, Mr. We're in administrative reports first.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
That's all right. Mr. Cook, you have anything?
Yes, just one item to report. 2 fire department employees, Captain John McNally and firefighter David Strithold, have recently graduated and completed their bachelor's program with the Union Institute and University. Their degree study are in emergency service management. So I'd just like to recognize those 2 individuals for their successful completion of their undergraduate studies.
Sergeant Jerry Grayson just recently completed his 25th year with the township as a police officer, and we don't normally congratulate people for showing up to work and doing what they're supposed to do, but Jerry had 25 years of perfect attendance. I think over 25 years and raising 3 kids, that's a difficult task, and I just wanted to acknowledge his commitment and his dedication to his job. I thought it was very impressive. And also, Chief Cook and I will be at Sweetheart Cafe a week from this Friday for our next Coffee with the Chiefs at 9 a.m.
Jenna? Dan? Frank? A couple follow-up items. As it relates to the issue 3 brochure that is on our website as well as on the Facebook, I believe we have a duty to educate our public on what issue 3 is all about. We've heard everything from our community about being more transparent, and that postcard is nothing more than our attempt to let our public know what issue 3 is all about. If you read that postcard, there's nothing that promotes the levy. There's nothing that says vote for or vote against. So it's an educational piece, just as our meetings that we're going to have tonight at Pleasant Run Elementary is our attempt to educate our community, so when they go in there and cast a vote on March 15th, they are informed as to what issue 3 is all about. Mr. Acton mentioned it. We have a meeting following this meeting at 7:30 at Pleasant Run Elementary. Will be our third community meeting to discuss this issue. One final attempt will be made on Waycross here on March the 8th at 6 o'clock. We will also do the presentation for one final airing in an effort to educate our community. With regards to the comments that Mr. Fidelday made regarding debt, I can tell you that our debt service in our general fund for 2016 is just over $800,000. In 2017, that drops just over $100,000 to be approximately $695,000, and it will remain at $695,000 through 2021, at which point the debt will be retired. Mr. Fidelday mentions debt service associated with Stone Creek TIF and the Best Buy TIF. When that debt retires, those are special funds outside the general fund. If there is any residual surplus, that money will roll back to the general fund and to the bottom line. I respectfully disagree with Mr. Fielday's statement that the Rumpke settlement is adequate enough to address the public infrastructure, the parks, and the needs that we have in this community. We can take the $1.2 million settlement and the additional $400,000 that we will get when we vacate Hughes Road, and that will allow us to address public infrastructure. But it's not going to make a big difference when you look at the condition of our roads and the fact that we have been without a dedicated funding source since 2001. Ultimately, on March 15th, this is a community decision. We have one other bite at the apple in 2016, and that will be in November if we're not successful. This community will decide the future of our parks, our community center, and our roads. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Rowan. Okay, let's move on then to public hearings. Go ahead, Mr. Birkenauer.
Thank you. I'm handling this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me. My fault. I don't know what it is with the public hearing. Mr. Ensko, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I'll lead us off here. First off, I want to thank Jim Acton for bringing up the moment of silence that we could do that because we did pray for years. I remember watching it in the meetings and I don't know what happened. So thank you. That was obviously from your suggestion. You know, Joe was a great guy, and I don't want to say much. I'm going to get all emotional. I don't want to do that. But we did get a stone in his honor. Is that right? Dan's saying we did do that. That's wonderful, and I applaud everyone that did that. I'd like to do more. I'm open for suggestions. If anybody has any suggestions, please, let us know. He's an amazing man and deserves the best. I also want to recognize anyone that donated. If I'm not mistaken, we have some sort of a sick fund. People can donate their sick time to if spouses are grieving or, just obviously she just lost her husband and still works here. So anybody that donates that, you're seriously a hero. I don't know the names. I don't know if we're even allowed to give them credit, but anybody that donates that, you're amazing. To give your sick time to a family in need like that was phenomenal. Okay, moving on. With this trustee application thing, I called every applicant. I called every reference. I even went to each department head and I said, hey, who do you guys want? Because they're going to have to work with the new trustee probably more than I will. And I was hoping for, a fair process, and I positively did my due diligence. I mean, I called everyone. This was a great opportunity for me to network and meet some people that may not have voted for me. So I did, and I really did. I prayed that this wasn't a charade. There are a few people I do want to mention that we had some things about them. There was a guy, Raj, that had applied, had a great idea. He works for the probation department, and he can get prisoners to clean up the side of the road and stuff like that. Now, I realize, we probably don't want a bunch of people in orange suits in our parks with, families picnicking and stuff like that, but maybe our more rural ones, or, maybe they can cut down some of the brush like we had mentioned, we had talked about by Ronald Reagan right there, because we've got some vagrants and some transients that are sleeping in the woods right there. So I think that was a great suggestion if we could follow up with him. Scott Taylor, he's in charge of the campaign right now with issue 3, and it's kind of a thankless job, I think, sometimes. So I'm sure he could use a hand if anybody wants to help support the levy. My suggestion was that we need to reach out to some of these high school kids that need their community service hours so that, it's free labor. I mean, there's nothing better than just, hitting the neighborhoods, passing out flyers and whatnot. I thought it'd be a good time to also do it maybe around, summer camp and the fireworks and all those things. It's just good publicity. I'd rather, personally, put those programs on, show people why they should vote for the levy, assuming that it fails. rather than just telling people about them, because then you've got a firsthand experience, because now it's been a couple years since we've really had those programs. We're talking about $30,000 here. That's, if we can't afford $30,000, holy moly, that's, to me, quality of life is everything. We're going to make more money. We will continue to make more money. We can't make more life. So that's I guess, my 2 cents on that. We do have a meeting, by the way, if anybody wants to join us after this. Well, actually, I think Jim's going to have to leave a little early to get there. You're okay on time right now. But 7:30 at Pleasant Run Elementary, if anyone wants to join us to learn more about the levy, I'll be joining after the trustee meeting. My top pick in this trustee race was Bob Moulter. Amazing human being, the father of Joe, working off a ton of inspiration, and by far, he was overqualified. I mean, the man was amazing. 35 years in banking. I mean, we could sing his praises all day. Jeffrey Baker, there's no doubt in my mind that someday he will be elected. He had more references than anyone I've ever met. I mean, it was like my phone would just ring off the hook for his references. So he did a great job too. Chuck, actually, I was going to mention, he was one of the few people that served. And just by a show of hands real quick, if you served in the military, if you would, don't mind, raise your hand, please. That's amazing. Every one of those people fought for our right to disagree. So thank you for your service. Again, I don't hate you. I promise. It's totally cool. It's totally cool. We're allowed to disagree because of your service and their service and everyone's service. So thank you for that. I had the foresight, and luckily a mutual friend, if you can believe that I knew Dennis's committee was going to end up picking Michael. And I knew if Jeff picked Mike, then there would be no incentive to negotiate. And, they were going to get whoever they wanted no matter what. It certainly wasn't fair to the 29 other applicants, but I felt like they had the right to know this. They gave me a deadline, and unfortunately, I don't know who it was that gave it to me. They were incorrect, and we ended up needing 3 hours to make this decision. So with 3 hours left, I called Jim, and I said, let's just go with Michael. There's no sense in delaying this, delaying the inevitable. Mike's a nice guy. But then he calls me back and says, well, Jeff doesn't have time, so it's going to go to Dennis's committee anyway. Well, that pretty much confirmed my suspicion that it was a bit of a charade, a total charade, to be perfectly honest. It just wasn't a fair process, and that's not Mike's fault. I'm not faulting him for that by any means, but I felt like the public had the right to know that. And ultimately, with that being said, I do welcome Mike with open arms, and he's a nice guy. I look forward to seeing what he brings to the table. So that's totally sincere. I love it. I can't wait. It's good to have some new blood in here. Other than that, I got to commend Frank Bergenhauer. I had gotten an email from someone about a pothole, and on 1 day's notice, they fixed this thing. I don't know. Did you get the follow up on that? They did that?
Yeah. That was thanks to our Public Works Department. They went out. It was actually a nice day, and they were able to get that fixed. And we've had some people out on leave, and I think that was an example where being short-staffed and having this person that I believe Steve is going to be our new director. Somehow, no pun intended, this slipped through the cracks, and we were able to get this fixed the day of. So that was a win, and thank you for recognizing that.
Thank you. And then last but not least, I look forward to hearing more on the 2B issue. I had dinner with at one of the firehouses right after I had a root canal, and the guys were nice enough. They blended the food so that I could kind of eat whatever they were having. But the brotherhood amongst those guys is amazing. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. I loved it. I loved every second of it. This is by far the most rewarding job I've ever had. One of the coolest experiences ever. And don't hesitate to reach out to me, or I think I can speak for all of us. Reach out to us if you need anything, questions, comments, concerns. That's all from me.
I think I'll go next tonight. Mr. Ensko is very good at conspiracy theories. First there was a missing rock from the park, and now there's a conspiracy around the appointment of a trustee. I think he insults me and my intelligence by the insinuation that I take my orders from Mr. Dieters and his campaign committee. We had 30 applications. We also had a process that both he and I agreed to, and that was a process by which we would each select one person for a final interview and go from there. And I selected the man to my right because of his temperament, which I thought was very good. Because of the fact he's an attorney and the fact we just lost 2 from the board, and I saw the skill sets, particularly from Mr. Dieters, that he brought to the table for the last 6 years, and thought that would be a gap that he could fill. And then last but not least, as I look at the profile of people that I've tried to attract to this township, and by the decisions that I've made over the last 10 years, young families that I want to come to Colerain to raise a family here and to stay here a long time. Mr. Enderhees is a textbook example of that. He's lived here his whole life. He's got a young family, and the totality of those three things, that is why I select him. There was no conspiracy. We had a process whereby we would bring them in for an interview. We did that on Thursday of last week. We had until Saturday at midnight to make a selection, or else the committee from Mr. Dieters would make that selection. At Friday, I notified Mr. Rowan that I was going to make my selection, and it was going to be Mr. Enderhees, and I wasn't going to change. Mr. Insko ultimately agreed with that, but we had the practical limitation of the fact that you have to give 24 hours notice to the media in order to have a public meeting to make the appointment. And by that time, it was late Friday evening, or actually it was late Friday afternoon, middle of the evening, and that would have put us on Saturday night to do the meeting. I was out with my wife at the Playhouse in the Park that evening, and it was a late evening, and we just couldn't make it happen. I acknowledge that Mr. Insko eventually did agree with Mr. Enderhees' appointment, but ultimately it did fall to the committee to make that appointment. So, no conspiracy, no missing rock. Mr. Enderhees got the job because of his skill and capability, and I congratulate him for that. And so, hopefully we can move on in a professional and mature way. Go ahead, Mr. Enderhees.
I'd like to just say that I'm very honored to be trustee right now. I was sworn in last night by Judge Burnett here. It was a very proud moment for my family and I. I'm an attorney. I've been licensed for the past 3 years. I've been married to my wife, Cora, for almost 4 years now. We have a 4-month-old son at home. I take a lot of pride in this township. I've lived here my whole life, and I really look forward to raising a son here in Colerain. I went to LaSalle High School. I earned my bachelor's degree at Miami University, and I earned my law degree at Northern Kentucky's Law School. Growing up in Colerain, my parents really taught me the value of hard work. I promised to work hard for this township and make this a great place to live, to work, and to raise a family. I've built my law career and my life on honesty and integrity, and I'll continue to do that here. Trustee Insko calls the process a charade, but I can guarantee you there's no conspiracy here. When I first applied for this job back on January 25th, there were approximately 20 or so hours left in the application window. I received a phone call that night from Trustee Insko indicating that of all the applicants, you are the most intriguing. If Jeff picked you, I would go along. Those were his exact words. And I'm very fortunate that he has chosen me in addition to Trustee Ritter, and that Dennis's committee ultimately nominated me to be here and agreed with the trustees' decision. Ultimately, I believe that residents, not the government, are what makes a township great. I look forward to listening to the residents and their needs and their wants and coming up with common sense, practical solutions to address your needs and wants. I'm committed to this township, the residents, my family, my wife Cora, and my son. I look to be very proactive in government, not just reactive. So I would like to hear from people in regards to positive ideas rather than simply relying on negative feedback. I'd like to thank you all for your time, and I look forward to working for the township and all of you.
Thank you. All right. Now I think we can do public hearings, hopefully.
We need a motion to open up the public hearing.
I want to set the table first, and then we'll do that when it comes time to...
Actually, on the agenda tonight is a public hearing for the demolition of 2305 Wilson. This house caught fire years ago. I believe we did get the vehicle removed from the front recently, but somehow this is in limbo with a process with the bank and the owner and the insurance, and the residents that have had to deal with this for too long we had a year after the fire, I think, when we could declare this as a nuisance, and the building department have done so. And this evening, up for the decision tonight would be the demolition of this structure finally.
Is there a motion to open up the public hearing?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Mr. Voorhees?
Aye.
Mr. Driscoll?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Will everyone who's going to speak at the public hearing please stand and raise their right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give at this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sandra Ziegler, and I actually live right next door to that house that's been in that state for the last year and a half. As scary as it looks, up there now, it's really scary at night. I've been uncomfortable in my home since that has happened. A building, or a structure of that nature is inviting to animals, rodents, or anything that needs shelter. And I want it gone. I want to put my own house on the market, but unless I'm going to give it away, I can't do anything. So my hands are tied, and I would like to see the structure removed.
The good news is we're here to help.
What are you doing after the meeting?
Might be able to take care of that tonight. All right. Anybody else would like to speak? Mr. Walsh.
Good evening. My name is Mark Walsh, Captain of the Colerain Fire Department. I'm here to speak on behalf of the township, just kind of give you a little background on this structure. This house was involved in a structure fire on August 6, 2014. Shortly after the fire, the tenants have actually kind of walked away from it. During the last couple years, the fire department has been out there with the building department to secure that structure. On November 23rd, 2015, we did a site inspection, again, based on another complaint that at that time the fire department had to post that building as an unsafe structure, not only to be habited or occupied, but also for firefighter safety or anybody else. The other issue was the being unsecured, unsafe with the neighborhood itself to keep any kids out or anybody else out of the facility. So on November 23rd, we submitted a copy of our recommendations. I believe Mr. Barbier got a copy of that, where it indicates that the fire department, under the Ohio Revised Code Section 505.8.86b, the removal, repair, or securance of an insecure, unsafe building structure, the Colerain Township Fire Department declares this property and the structure to be unsafe. So we're recommended to be demoed. That's all.
And then we don't have a representative from Hamilton County Building Inspections here this evening, but on November 13, 2015, the owner was served with a letter. This letter shall serve as an official building order that the Hamilton County Building Inspections also declared this as an unsafe and substandard structure and a nuisance. And they gave the owner until November 30th, 2015 to provide architectural and compliance documents as to how they were going to rehab this facility if they weren't going to demo it. So that is also in the record as well. And Ms. Ziegler here, we've been talking for a few months now, and she's provided me with a lot of contacts that I've went through, and unfortunately we have not been able to get a voluntary demolition of this structure, and that's why we're asking the trustees tonight.
Did they not have insurance on this?
They did, and
didn't work out, huh? Okay, fair enough.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Mr. Voorhees?
Aye.
Mr. Driscoll?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye. Okay, anything else?
After you close the public hearing, I'd like you to pass resolution. Would there be a resolution tonight?
Would you like me to read the caption for you?
Yes, please.
Okay. This is resolution number 9-16, resolution for demolition of the property at 2305 Wilson Avenue.
Chair will make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
He meant that, didn't he?
Okay, who's got the financial service providers text amendment?
I'll be handling that. My presentation tonight is just verbal. This is case number ZA 2015-04. The Board of Trustees initiated a moratorium on alternative financial service providers on August 12th, 2014, and have since extended the moratorium until February 28th, 2016, in order to allow the impact of these businesses to be reviewed and legislation drafted. Our research has indicated that an overabundance of these types of institutions have negative effects community-wide. These types of businesses tend to prey on people who do not have access to conventional financing and can least afford the high interest rates presented by them. After review by the Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission, it was recommended that the text amendment would include the following criteria. They would be permitted within the B1 Neighborhood Business District as well as the B2 General Business District. The number of alternative financial service providers should be restricted to no more than one per each 10,000 residents. They should be located at least 1,000 feet from any other lot containing another alternative financial service provider, as well as located at least 200 feet from any lot within a residential zoning district. The proposed text amendment also includes language defining alternative financial service providers, provider uses within the township, and that language is included in the board packets that you received. The Colerain Township Zoning Commission recommended approval of the proposed text amendment on January 19th, 2016 in a 4-1 vote.
Is there a motion to open up the public hearing?
I'll make the motion. Second. Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody here to speak at the public hearing? I'll swear them in. No.
Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing. Second the motion.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye. Read the caption.
Request approval of resolution adopting text amendment to the Colerain Township zoning resolution regarding alternative financial service providers.
Motion to approve.
So moved. I'll second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye. Okay, public safety.
Thank you. First item on the agenda this evening is the respectfully request the Board of Trustees recognize the successful completion of the one-year probationary period for Colerain Department of Fire and EMS Chief of the Department Frank Cook. Chief Cook was promoted to the position of Fire Chief on January 1 of 2015. Briefly overviewing his first year, the department successfully transitioned from the prestigious leader in Chief Bruce Smith to Chief Cook. Chief Cook has integrated a community service model to the department that's led to extension and engagement of our residents through door-to-door canvassing, engaging in conversations to enhance relationships, but not only the fire department, but the police department and our community. He's embraced the public safety operating model and successfully partnered with Chief Mark Denny of the police department to create the organization's current strategic plan. He's also helped drive the mission of the quick response team in its response to the heroin epidemic and reduce the harm associated. His leadership is integral to any and all successful fire and EMS department operations. Because of his success and his demonstrated leadership, I ask that the board approve a salary increase to $95,000 a year effective January 1 of 2016. And just as a point of reference, this is the operating model that we've taken where we hire a department head, have them successfully complete their first year of probation, and then allow for the increase if they've met the expectations. And I would stand up on any hill and say that Chief Cook has met all the expectations.
Well, I would agree with that. Before I entertain motions for the increase, I just want to say it's been a pleasure to serve with you in the last year, and I'm really impressed with your leadership and the team you've built. And I know we're going to continue to excel and do great things with the Fire and EMS division. So, congratulations. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
It's my honor to call the roll. Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item for the board is an action item. It's related to what I called termed as the suspension of the Firefighter 2B program.
Just a little bit of history. The Firefighter 2B program was established in the fall of 2014 as a response to the Affordable Care Act and the limitation of part-time employees to 1,500 hours per year. As you stated earlier, Mr. Ritter, this is a combination part-time, full-time organization that staffs at the time, a majority part-time employees. So the part-time is integral to our success and our operational vision. The 2B program allowed for firefighters that were willing to work additional hours. They would then be provided the opportunity to get health care at our gold plan. We approved a staffing model of about 40 of those folks to fit within our part-time system. Last week, we received a letter from the Ohio Police and Fire Pension System that they were currently reviewing the 2B program to define whether our 2B program was part-time or full-time. So in lieu of that, there's potential liability that's concerning to the township, not only the fire department, but our operations. We want to protect the liabilities associated with the township and ask the board to suspend the 2B program in lieu of this investigation and review by OP&F effective April 9th. April 9th, you say, why that date? The fire department operates in a measuring period. The measuring period for 2015 and 16 is April 12, 2015 to April 9, 2016. That's where we build our hour to determine whether they're under 1,500, over 1,500, or they fit within this 2B system. So that's our operating period, and I'd ask the board's approval to allow us to work to April 9th to build a model to determine, one, learn what the position is of the OP&F board, and then build the model to determine how we're going to best serve the community. So I ask the board's approval to suspend the program with an effective date of April 9, 2016.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Drees?
Aye.
Mr. Minsky?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you. The next is good. I always like the good things. Dr. Sean Ryan and Brightview Health donated 100 doses of naloxone in an auto-injector format for the use of our quick response team. What they are doing is, because of this donation, we have the capability of providing another bridge to the life-saving gap for when we do our follow-ups to anyone involved in the overdose or responding to an overdose follow-up, to give them another bridge to that date when they can receive treatment. Because sadly enough, the treatment facilities throughout this region are very limited or very costly. So we need to provide opportunities for people to survive. And this donation is worth approximately $50,000. The device is here. This is a demonstration of it. And I know a couple of you have seen this, but I think this is really cool. And if you don't mind, may I demonstrate it?
Please do.
If you're familiar with the AED operations, it tells you what to do. This is the AED version. So,
to inject, place black end against outer thigh.
So
press firmly and
anyone that takes this or has this could just listen, and then
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Injection complete.
in the stressful moment of a loved one who's.
This trainer may be reused for training.
But the reality is, under a stressful situation, the ability to, just like the AED, talks us through and maybe settles us down. This allows the loved one, the family member, the wife, the father, or whatever, to be able to take action and save a life. And the reality is, if you're breathing, there's a hope. And this is like I said, this is a $50,000 donation made to us because, number one, I'll speak on behalf of Dr. Ryan, is that because he believes in what Colerain's vision is and the leadership in the township to take on this and make a difference in our community. So I just want to ask the board's approval to accept it, and then we will continue to move forward and we'll save some lives with it.
Is a motion to approve?
Real quick, is there any risk if it gets in the wrong hands?
The experts tell us, and I defer to our paramedics in the back or any doctors this is a drug that really has no negative effects. So this really can't hurt anybody in the event of. So if they feel that they're in an overdose situation, they have the ability to do that, and they're not going to cause any harm for that.
Good answer. Cool. I'm okay with that. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Andrees?
Aye.
Mr. Rinsko?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
And finally, we received 2 donations, exactly the same, from the Cincinnati Moose Lodge, one for the police and one for the fire. Can I do this as a as a group, Mr. Barbier?
Yes.
Ask the board's approval to accept two single donations of $437.49, total of $847.98, one to the police and one to the fire, to support the community risk reduction services for the fire department and the quick response team for the police department.
Motion to approve.
So moved. Second. Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
Before we leave public safety, and I fault myself for not bringing this up in my trustees report, the township, I would say, wasn't in the best light this week on a story that came out about some trouble we had at Northgate Mall last weekend. It's no secret that I've been a big advocate of trying to do what we could to make sure Northgate Mall thrives and prospers. It's a huge development in the heart of our community, and when I see stories like I saw over the weekend, it's not a good thing. There's millions of dollars in investment that's been made there, state-of-the-art cinema, great restaurants that our residents frequent, and so I just simply would ask Chief Denny to give us just a quick update on what's your plan, and as we move forward here over the weeks ahead.
Certainly. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss this. What happened Saturday was there was a small fight between 5 or 6 people inside the mall that caused, when you're surrounded by 100 other kids and there's a fight, that tends to get things a little out of control. So in the abundance of caution, we asked for assistance from other local agencies to come help us disperse the crowd and get everybody out of there so there weren't any issues, and that's why you saw a large response inside the parking lot if you were in the area that night. I've heard everything from there were 100 kids fighting to there was rioting. That's absolutely false. There were 5 or 6 kids fighting surrounded by 100 kids. We saw the potential for a problem if we didn't take action immediately. In response to that, we are going to do increased patrols. We're going to have extra people on hand for the mall because it is important to the township, and making sure that that's a safe place for people to visit is important to us. So we will have the resources on hand to make sure it goes well. I've been in contact with the ownership of the mall. They're committed to doing whatever we need to do to make sure that everything's taken care of right.
Okay. So we'll monitor that. Maybe at the next meeting, tell us how the next 4 weeks went.
Absolutely. I'll be there Saturday night as well to monitor and see what's going on.
Thank you.
If I could also acknowledge Mark on this, I saw it on the internet, and as I'm reading through the comments, I'm just like, oh no, because you can do 1,000 things right, but the one negative thing is all anybody ever wants to talk about. And people were chiming in and this, and then 3 comments into it, it just turns into just awful. And sure enough, like the next comment down was Mark to save the day, to set everybody straight. And it was funny, after you reply, suddenly everyone just kind of calms down, they don't say anything anymore. So thank you for being on top of our social media. If you guys are ever wondering who's in charge of our Facebook page, and anytime you hear anything kind of crazy, that's usually Mark typing on there. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Ms. Birkenauer.
I believe we have another.
We have one
Excuse me.
donation accepted
I'm sorry.
from the fire department.
I have one donation acceptance request, please. $25 personal check received from Ms. Janelle Waters of the 2400 block of Kings Path in appreciation for services by fire department personnel.
Motion approved.
So moved.
Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. The item I have tonight is to request acceptance of a total of 1,860 linear feet, which is about just over a third of a mile of road, and this is on the Blue Meadow Lane, Schneider's Farm Court, and Red Hawk Court. This would be accepted as a township street. This is a fairly new development. We walked through, our inspector did with Hamilton County, and approved the state of the street. We only accept them if they're in good working order and everything's in shape, and they found that to be the case, and for that we're recommending acceptance.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Thank you.
2 items for planning and zoning. First being a request for a public hearing on waste receptacles text amendment on March 8th, 2016. With the upcoming waste contract, there were some concerns raised about moving some of these larger cans to the side or rear yard. So this is a very minor text amendment that will be heard in front of the Zoning Commission on February 16th. So this request for a public hearing is in anticipation of them providing you a recommendation from that meeting.
Make a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Second item is a request for a second public hearing and final resolution for demolition of 2305 Wilson Avenue on Tuesday, March 9th, 2016, 6 p.m. This is in case the owner invokes their right for a public hearing since the resolution was adopted this evening.
I'll make the motion. Second. Aye.
Mr. Ensko?
Aye.
Aye. Birkenauer?
Yes, first action tonight, at the last meeting, we passed a resolution which was talking about guidelines regarding drones and other aircraft. This evening, we have the guidelines attached in your packet, and the drone company that was there, they work very closely with Mr. Rowan in developing these guidelines, which are pretty standard across many of the other parks. Systems that allow drones. Many of them just prohibited them across the board. We're allowing them in Dravo and Heritage. That being the case, those guidelines are what we're recommending approval for this evening.
Before I entertain motions, I just wanted to mention I did get one email from a resident expressing his concern about this. He frequents Heritage Park quite a bit. I gave him my commitment that we're going to continue to monitor this, and if it turns out to be problematic, then we're either going to tweak it or do whatever we have to do. But you know, it's one of these things we're going to continue to monitor, but I do believe it's necessary to limit the use to our two most spacious parks and add a element of safety to it as well. So I'll entertain motions to approve.
If I could add to that too, assuming we're talking about the same email, it was interesting. He said the Cincinnati Flyers Club's an all-electric RC club conveniently located at Mill and Springdale Road. The club already has training and safety rules in place to allow individuals to safely practice their sport. I didn't know about that. So maybe that'd be a nice thing if people call. And, I guess my big thing is in a crowded area, in a rural park, I don't think it's much of an issue. I think one day this is going to be regulated on a much larger scale than local government. So, I'm prepared to take action.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion. Second.
Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Mr. Ensko?
Aye.
Aye.
The second item this evening actually will not require an action or a vote. The Hamilton County Township Association appoints members to the Hamilton County Solid Waste District Committee, and Dennis Dieters, our former trustee, was a member of that. That is a Hamilton County Township Association appointment and not our Board of Trustees. There was some confusion there, so we can skip over that item. The next item is the approval of the resolution regarding reinstatement of our 457 plan. The Ohio 457 plan is a deferred comp funded by our employees. We need it to comply with IRS regulatory changes, provide for greater flexibility on selecting plan provisions for the employee to invest, and those documents have been reviewed for legal counsel. We're recommending approval this evening.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Andrews?
Aye.
Mr. Ensko?
Aye.
Mr. Twitter?
Aye.
And the next item, I can't tell you how excited I am about this particular item because I have been somewhat in charge of the road department, but we've got some good employees that I've worked with that have got me through some trying times with this new responsibility. But the first item is recommend approval of Steve Rudislofer as Public Works Director effective February 25th, 2016, a starting salary of $75,000. I've worked with Mr. And Steve, can you pronounce your last name? You're doing fine. Okay, Rudislofer. I've worked with him. I've been here about 20 years. I've worked with him for 20 years. Most recently, worked with him on the Safe Routes to Schools. We were putting a sidewalk on a county road. He comes from the Hamilton County Engineer's Office. We had a resident that was upset. He helped us solve their water issues, and he's done a lot of different things through the years. When we had him interviewed, I did a search on my email, and it's amazing how many times we've had contacts or been copied on different projects that he's worked with in Colerain Township. So we were very excited to have him as an addition in this township as our new Public Works Director. And with that, he would be replacing Tim Lang, who is retiring on March 1st, 2016.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. I just want to say congrats, and I'm obviously going to agree to that. I've heard nothing but great things, and be ready for your phone to be ringing off the hook because we got some issues with our roads. It always does. Perfect answer. Yes, I'll second. That's where we were in that, sorry.
Sure. Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
And the next item is Public Works Supervisor. We've reevaluated we used to have a Parks Director, a Public Works Director. Then they had assistants to that as well. So in these lean times, we've had to rethink the way we do things. We've had some of our maintenance people that are working in the office to make up some of that bandwidth. Those people are going to be out in the field. And David Pritchard, who was a special projects supervisor for the city of Florence, Kentucky, a project manager. And he was a maintenance worker too in Union Township as well. So his skill set, we thought, fit very well in being out in the field and making sure that this robust road program that we're proposing on issue 3 gets initiated in the most cost-effective, efficient manner possible. And I think David's experience, it was interesting too, during his interview, we found out his wife's from Colerain and lived in Colerain most of her life until David got his Florence job, I guess, and they're in Kentucky. But he was so excited to be back in Colerain Township, and his enthusiasm, his military background, and some other things. I just think he's going to be a great addition to our township. And with that, I'd like to recommend approval of David Pritchard as our new Public Works Supervisor, effective February 25th, 2016, at a starting salary of $55,000.
Make a motion to approve.
Chair will second.
And I heard you're getting your PhD, is that right?
Thinking about it. I just finished my MBA.
Awesome. Congrats. We'll look forward to working with you. Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye. And again, congratulations to you both. Welcome to the team. We're glad to have you.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Okay, fiscal officer's report.
I'd like to ask for the board's usual approval of payroll purchase orders and receipts.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
All right, we have a bunch of minutes to approve tonight. At our last meeting, we did not approve minutes because we were kind of in flux. So because there was only one trustee sitting now that was at those December meetings, Mr. Barbier has advised that what we can do for those 3 meetings for December is that I'm going to ask the board not to approve the minutes, but to approve my taking in transcription of the minutes. Did I explain that well? Okay. So that will be the motion for the March 8th regular meeting.
Chair will make such motion.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
And then a similar motion for the special meeting of December 17th.
Make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
And then the special meeting of Christmas Eve, December 24th.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Enderhees?
Aye.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
All right, then we can go back to normal for our special meeting of January 1st, 2016.
Make a motion to approve.
Actually,
I recommend an abstention there.
You'll need to abstain.
That's right.
Chair will make a motion.
Second.
Okay. So I'm sorry, Jeff, you made the motion?
I did.
Seconded.
Okay. And Mr. Enderhees?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Okay. And Mr. Insco?
Aye.
And Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
And the regular meeting of January 12th.
Chair will make a motion to approve.
Second motion.
All right, Mr. Enderhees?
Abstain.
Mr. Insco?
Aye.
And Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
All right, that's all we have this evening. Thank you very much.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Before I make the motion, although the process wasn't fair, that's not a reflection of Mike. I just want to reiterate my congrats to him, and I look forward to seeing you help Colerain. And with that, I'll make the motion.
Before we take the roll on that, again, we had a very, very fair process. And Mr. Mason, would you like to speak before me?
What the committee did, what you guys did, what you said you did was the way it was supposed to work. The 2 trustees, right, agree on it. You said you did, but then you didn't. I don't want an answer.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Then it goes into, I guess the Ohio Revised Code, the committee selects, and it did. It's not a charade, it's the law. You don't know a lot about that, I don't think. Don't roll your eyes. You're a public official now. You can't act silly like you're on TV.
I disagree with you.
Yeah.
And I am disagreeing with you. But that's
I think you know a lot about charades. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you for your time.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Enderhees?
We've got someone out here that wanted to speak. I assume they raised it.
I'll talk to you after the meeting.
I would entertain it if you guys would entertain it. I don't have an
I'd
issue.
continue with the roll.
Mr. Enska?
Aye. Sorry.
Mr. Ritter?
All right. Everybody, safe drive home. Thanks for
Amen.
coming.
Good night, guys.